On June 6th, a group of engineering employees arrived at NAS Norfolk and made preparations to fly to the USS Bush via a C-2 Greyhound, otherwise known as a Carrier Onboard Delivery, or COD aircraft. We put our float coats and cranial on and proceeded to board the rear of the aircraft. We secured ourselves in the 4-point harness, and then we were ready to experience a carrier landing for the first time. We couldn't see our approach to the carrier, so the moment we hit the deck was an exciting surprise. Almost immediately after landing on the carrier, the rear cargo door opened, and we were in the midst of a completely different world. We were quickly ushered into an arrival room and began the process of orientating ourselves. The USS Bush is 1,092 feet long and is one of the largest warships in the world. She is powered with 2 nuclear reactors and can operate for more than 20 years without refueling. The USS Bush has 8 floors below the main hangar deck and 10 floors above. All compartments, including berthing or sleeping areas, are identified by a 3D compartment numbering system. The first number is the deck number or vertical reference, the second number is the frame number or longitudinal reference, the third number is the relation to the center line, and the fourth designates the compartment usage. The men bunked together in an officer's room for 4, and Stacia and I shared one of the female officers' quarters. Our room was located 2 floors below the flight deck near the bow of the ship, and it was so exciting to hear the loud bang of F-18s taking off just above us. After we dropped our things off in our rooms, we headed straight for Vulture's Row so we could observe F-18 pilots actively working on their carrier qualifications. We ate our meals in the officer's wardroom, which had a full spread of hot and cold food available most times throughout the day. Other members of the crew ate in one of 2 enormous mess halls located on the second deck. After dinner, we explored the main hangar bay, which is used for maintenance operations and can house approximately 30 aircraft at one time. We saw the sunset through one of the 4 elevator openings within the hangar bay, and soon we could hear the sounds of F-18s taking off and landing as part of nighttime qualifications. On day 2, we woke up bright and early to get out on the flight deck before carrier quals began. We took a close look at the condition of the planes on deck and could see firsthand how they were maintained in the fleet. We visited flight deck control, where a team led by a handling officer directs the movement, maintenance, arming, and fueling of aircraft on the flight and hangar decks. We met up with a handler, or yellow shirt, who took us back outside as carrier quals were starting for the day. There we were able to observe takeoffs and landings amidst all the action on the flight deck. During a break in carrier quals, we explored other areas of the ship. We headed to one of the squadron ready rooms and listened in as one of the pilots briefed the carrier qual plan for the evening. We also headed down to the deepest part of the carrier to learn about the fuel system on board. There are over 3 million gallons of JP5 aboard, which is the fuel used by naval aircraft and ships. We ended the day with an amazing opportunity to observe nighttime landings on the Landing Signal Officer, or LSO's, platform. We started off our third day with a visit to PriFly, or the Primary Flight Control Tower. This is where the Air Boss controls all flight operations within 5 miles of the ship. As we explored the area, it was clear that this team had a sense of humor. We also went on a tour of the Aircraft Intermediate Maintenance Department and got a closer look at the second level of maintenance done on the ship. We saw where they did jet engine repairs, composite and sheet metal repairs, and avionics repairs, to name a few. After a quick view of the forecastle or anchor room, we headed above deck to watch the sunset on our last night on the ship. The pilots were in their final stages of qualification, and we only saw a few more cats and traps before they became fully carrier qualified. Once they achieved this milestone, one by one they each took off to fly home to Oceania. The next morning we awoke to a beautiful sunrise and were fortunate enough to witness a Vulcan 20mm cannon test, which can fire off 4,500 rounds per minute. It was a great send-off to a wonderful few days aboard the USS Bush. After putting our float coat and cranial on for the last time, we boarded the cod and prepared ourselves to be catapulted off the ship.
After landing safely and making my way home, I had more time to reflect on the amazing experience I had. Not only did we get to see firsthand how F-18s are used in the fleet, but we also had the chance to talk with Navy personnel directly and get their feedback on how much they appreciated the aircraft and its overall reliability. The experience gave me a deeper understanding and sense of pride for the work my team and I do every day to support the U.S. Navy, and I am grateful I was able to experience such a close-up view of our products at work in the field.